Welcome everybody here in Oxford Plains for the weekly press 150 here at Oxford Plains. We've got the drivers from the MiRL getting down onto the grid for tonight's race here at this very short and very round short track here tonight in the super late models. This is the second race of the season. Last week we went to Lanier and we had a very interesting race. Lots of beating and banging, lots of hard racing all night long. And here tonight at Oxford Plains we've got a big field of drivers, so I expect for a lot of bumping and banging. We're going to see a lot of great racing throughout the night. And I guess I'm riding solo, so you're listening to Steve Bonesteel up in the Checkered Flag Interactive booth for tonight's event. And like I said already, we've got over 30 drivers that have participated in qualifying and practice here. And I do imagine that most of them will be running in tonight's race. A lot of notable names in tonight's field. Starting towards the front, we've got Vic Greenwood. He's always a big name here, and he is very good at these short tracks. Jake Goodwin. He is another good driver. I've raced with him quite a few times in the C-Class Truck Series and whatnot on iRacing in the Open Official Series. So a lot of great names here through the field. And just like last week, I think we're going to have a very competitive race, all 150 laps. And again, this is a reminder that this race is the weekly Press 150 local newspaper, and they jumped on board to the Maritime Racing League here tonight to sponsor this race and bring it to you. And the pace car lights will be off, and this field's going to have to get themselves sorted out very quickly here because these pace laps are about to get wrapped up, and we will be taking the green flag for 150 laps here tonight. Expect quite a few cautions because it's not going to be easy to get all 30 of these cars around this track time and time again without incident. So, I mean, you see there in the background, the field's still not all the way caught up. The pace car is pulling in, though, and we are away. Green flag. The 03 gets a good start. And these drivers already, Ronald McKay in that 03, your leader, he's pulled off to a solid lead already with the number 199 of Jake Goodwin. He falls to third, and then sitting there in second, Keith Mack in that number 22. He is sitting there trying to chase this guy down, and it's early on, and this racetrack here is a very short track, like I said already, and it's pretty much the low line only is where you're going to see almost all of the racing done. Maybe as the long run continues, there might be a chance to work on that outside line, and if you push hard enough on these restarts, you might get something going. But for the majority of this race, it will be dominated by right around that inner curb, which plays a very interesting role. And I want you guys at home to take a look at the inside of the racetrack also. You see those poles with the mounds of dirt? If you go flying off into one of those things, you will be up into the air, rolling over, all kinds of nasty stuff. So you definitely do not want that to happen. As we take a look there, the number 21 of Sean Pierce is starting to catch up to the back of Jake Goodwin in that 199. And we might have a battle for third place starting to heat up if that number 21 continues to put on the pressure. But also, the number 98 of Stephen Matthews there in fifth place is starting to catch up. This battle for third is going to be a 3-car battle in no time. We've got 5 cars here at the start of the field starting to break away from everybody else. And I've got a feeling that a lot of these cars are going to be the majority of the front the entire race long. A lot of these drivers were very close in qualifying and practice on their times, and this is one of those rhythm tracks on iRacing. Once you get into a rhythm, you do not break it, and dare you break it, you will be in trouble very quickly here at Oxford Plains. So for 150 laps, I'm pretty surprised so far. We haven't had much beating, hardly any banging, so we've got a good start here, completing 9 laps already of 150. These drivers putting down 15, almost 16-second lap times each and every time they go around this place, so they are going to be getting dizzy almost, and their hands are going to be getting sore because you are constantly turning at Oxford Plains. So again, you have joined Checkered Flag Interactive and Steve Bonesteel up in the booth for the weekly Press 150, and we've got some good racing here in the Maritime Racing League, the second race of the season. And it's like I said earlier, mainly everyone is single file there, and the caution is out. Looks like the number 38 found himself in a little bit of trouble. We'll pull up the replay for you very quickly here and take a look at what happened. And you see the number 38 on the outside is trading paints, refreshing. He comes down just a tiny bit on that number 32. A very clean spin. If you're going to get spun, I guess that's the way you want to do it. Practically no damage, and if anything, just a slight dent. So no harm, no foul. And the number 38, he'll get some fresh Goodyear tires, or I do believe it's actually not Goodyears on these super late models. I do believe they're Hussars, and I have no clue if I even said that right. But either way, he's going to get 4 fresh rubbers on that car, a very universal term there, and he will be good to go. We will be right back for the green flag. Do not go away. Checkered Flag Interactive's coverage here at Oxford Plains. We'll be right back. And as I said, a super quick commercial break here. The field will be getting doubled up this time by the pace car lights will be going on, off. And we will see a restart here running through the top 5. You've got Ronald McKay in the 03 on point. Keith Mack in second, that number 22. Jake Goodwin in the 199 starting on that inside line in row number 2. Sean Pierce in the 21 on his outside. And then right behind him, you've got the number 9 starting on the outside in 6th place with Stephen Matthews starting in 5th place here. The pace car lights are off. We will be taking the green flag here, and we will be getting back to green coming to lap 18. The pace car is off. The 03 is away, and the spotter's talking to you guys. We are green, green, green. A very good start for the 03, regardless of him getting loose there at the very beginning. But the 199 dives underneath that number 22 of Keith Mack. He's going to get shoved up into that middle lane. He's not going to be able to hold on to that spot, I don't believe, unless he really has a hat trick coming. That 199, Jake Goodwin, will be moving up into second place here, completing the pass going into turns 3 and 4. And it looks like that number 98 of Stephen Matthews, using that inside line to his full advantage, will be also going underneath that number 22, that zigzag number 22. And he is stuck up there in that middle lane, and he will drop in behind that number 8 in 4th place after losing 2 positions on this restart there. The number 49 of Chris Stewart, though, is right on his back bumper. He looked pretty strong, picked up a few positions on that very short first run, and as we look through the field, a lot of good racing. Looking at a little bit of smoke there. We've got a car getting loose. Looks to be the number 89 of Morgan Murphy there, getting into a little bit of trouble, being able to collect that car. And the caution's out. Wreck in turn 1 and 2. We're going to pull up a replay. I do believe the caution involved the 05 of Todd Cousins, and we'll watch this replay here together to confirm a little bit of lag going on in front of him, so that might have had something to do with it. Number 32 again, getting into someone here in turns 1 and 2. Second caution tonight. Ashton Tucker. 2 drivers now he's gotten underneath and turned around. It might have had something to do with his lag issue this time by, but the first time was just him getting underneath someone, and wow, he just couldn't even get that car collected there. I don't even know what he's doing. Maybe some gymkhana in the infield in that number 32. I'm not sure what I think about that, almost hitting that mound, and he's still there doing donuts. So interesting start for that number 32, and he almost pulls out, and holy cow. Oh, he makes contact under caution with the 88. What in the world? But regardless, you are tuned in to Checkered Flag Interactive here with an exciting start to our race here at the Oxford Plains and the weekly Press 150 for the Maritime Racing League. The 03 has led I think actually every single lap since the green flag has dropped, and only it's been 27 laps now as he crosses the line, but he's looking pretty solid there, looking consistent, and I've got a feeling he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Here at these short tracks, it's very hard to make up ground unless you get involved in an incident and the guys in front of you go around and you don't. So we'll just have to keep an eye on this 03 throughout the night, and we'll see how he manages. And I will be having my broadcast partner, Brandon Hoff, join me up in the booth very briefly here, running late. I do believe he got caught in a snowstorm, and this northern weather has been pretty crazy. And Brandon Hoff definitely, he will be making his way up in the booth, but now we will be making our way back to green flag. The 03 is away, green, green, green.
The yellow flag is out.
And the yellow flag comes out quickly there as you hear over the radio. I see Ashton Tucker again on pit road. Not sure if he was involved in it or not. It does not appear to be the case, and we've got that replay in turn 1 and 2 right there. As we take a look at the drivers go around the track, I don't see much of anything really going on, so not sure what that caution was for. And just now, Brandon Hoff has jumped up into the booth, and as soon as I turn his sound on, he will be ready to go for the night to help me bring you guys the action. Good evening, Brandon. I heard that snowstorm over there really got you on your way back from work.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not in the Buffalo area, so I don't have that snow. I'm not really anywhere near it, but yeah, I was a little hindered getting here, but all good now. I'm here. A little late, but join the party.
And the pace car lights are off to come to lap number 34 of 150 and complete that. And green flag is out in the air. The 03 is away once again, and we are good to go.
03 Ronald McKay, it's a great jump there on the restart, and here comes last week's winner, Jake Goodwin, the 199, right on his back bumper. And even though only 35 laps in this race, he looks strong yet again as we have another caution on the track. Looks like a few cars have tangled up, it looks like in turn 3. Looks like a pretty big stack up there.
Tim Big Sexy Terry got involved in that one, that number 75. He went way off in the grass. So we'll take a look at the replay here on that restart. The incident was mid-pack, so we'll take a look at the mid-pack, see what happened there. Going in the corner, it looked like Tim got in the back of number 83 just a little bit, and that sent him around and off into the grass. These cars, these super late models, are very, very tough. These cars can be beat up. They're pretty much like the trucks, I would like to say. Brandon, you can beat these things pretty hard, and they will get you around this track pretty successfully.
Yeah, we see with these super late models a lot that, you know, aerodynamics are big, but they're also not big at the same time. You can, like you said, beat these things pretty hard, and they'll still go up to full pace. We see a couple of cars beat up early on in this race so far, but aerodynamics aren't the biggest thing at Oxford Plains because it's such a tight corner track. You run the bottom. It's really not a two-groove track as we saw last week. We saw people try to run that outside groove at Lanier. You won't see much of that tonight. The bottom is the way to go, but aerodynamics are not very big with these late models, so you can beat them up and you'll still be up to full pace as we see early on here with some of these guys.
And Ronald McKay in that number 03 is still your leader here, and he's really been pretty blessed with these cautions early on. He's been able to get these cautions, run it through heat cycles on his tires, and see how his car is going to be on these heat cycles as the run progresses. And this time, as the pace car lights will turn off, he will be once again ready to take the green flag.
Yeah, we saw the 03 of Ronald McKay. We should mention last week we saw him very strong earlier on in the race. We saw him run a lot of top 5, top 3. He even tried to get to the lead, but he had a couple of problems mid-race, late in the race, and he wound up with a poor finish. Not reflective of where he ran, but he's looking to rebound this week, and he looks to be having a very strong run as the pace car will duck in this time. And Ronald McKay takes off, and we are back green on lap 40 here at Oxford Plains.
The 199 did not get the kind of start that he was probably hoping for. He drove it very wide there. Cars in the grass going through 1 and 2. no caution as of yet, but that number 98, take a look at him driving it down into 3 and 4. He is right on the back bumper, that 03. He has been slowly working his way up towards the front, and here with this last caution, he has been able to maneuver his way underneath everybody to get right there on that 03's back bumper.
Yeah, Steve Matthews in 98 is looking really strong right now on the back bumper of the 03. Seeing if he can maybe get a run here going into turn 3. He's right there, but he just can't get that run. So it looks like the top two are getting a little gap over third place Craig McDonald right now. And looks like Craig McDonald is getting a little gap over the 199. And back there, looks like the first battle's for 5th between Mike Rhino and Keith Mack. Looks like Mike Rhino on the 34 will get that spot. Now here comes the 55, Mackenzie Brewer, looking for the 6th spot.
Yeah, as we take a look there, Mike Rhino has been moving up in that number 34. He's been having a couple hard times on these restarts, getting stuck up on the high side, but this restart he's been able to get down to the bottom line, and he's really working on that 199 of Jake Goodwin, who was up in second place for a while there, and he has fallen back due to the way the cautions fell and the restarts worked. So we're watching this number 34 as he makes his way up through the field.
Yeah, he's been pretty fast, it looks like, all day so far. Even though we're not halfway yet, but look for him to contend for the win, as he did last week. But as we go back up front here, looks like the 98's a little bit loose. He's still stalking the 03, just can't seem to get the run off the corner to make a move going into one of these corners. As he gets a good run there off turn 4, let's see if he can do some going into 1. Can't quite get there.
And you are watching the weekly Press 150 here at Oxford Plains as we've got this battle for the lead starting to heat up. The number 98 has come up onto the back bumper of the 03 of Ronald McKay. And we are in the second race of the season for the Maritime Racing League, and the caution is out once again.
Looks like the 88, Nick Noggle. Looks like he is off the track, and we have 2 cars involved here. Looks like the 88 is off, and I can't tell who that is. Looks like the 91 maybe? Chris Wanacott? Yes, it is.
And we've got the replay up on your screen from lap 48, and he is about to come to 49 there. He's racing with Tim Terry and the number 78 on his outside. It looks like this might be one of those situations where he had someone wrecked on the outside, and he tried to cut down to make sure he was safe, and someone was down there. And unfortunately, that sent him around, and he's got some left side damage. Almost collects the 48, trying to get back up on track. But like we've already said, Brandon, these cars are very tough, so they can take a beating.
Yeah, they can for sure. But we saw there, like you said, with Nick Noggle. Looks like he just was trying to avoid the wreck on the outside, went low, cut across someone's nose, and just not enough room. There's really not enough room to hide at this track. It's a very narrow track, so very hard to avoid a wreck, if there is one.
And we are back here at Oxford Plains, lap 53 coming to 54. Once again under caution here in the weekly Press 150. These guys once again ready for a restart. That number 9, he's been moving up through the field slowly but surely throughout this entire race. And now he's there on that inside line. And now the number 98 will be starting on the outside line. Definitely not where he wants to be. And we will see how it works here with the pace car lights off. We are going up into the chopper here on this restart, and we are going to watch it from above.
Should be an exciting restart here. We got less than 100 to go now, as this race is going by fairly quick. So these guys not a lot of time to make moves. This pace car is in. The green flag is out. So we see Ronald McKay in the 03 get another good restart, and we have a caution once again. Looks like a big wreck going into turn 1. That big wreck turned into maybe just one car. But we'll take a look and see what happened here.
Chris Roma on that restart was on that outside, and the number 18 just dove it into the corner really hard. Nathan Doherty there, and just got his left rear quarter panel, sent him around hard into the grass and dirt there on the outside. Not sure if that was a driver miscalculation or what it was, but it definitely looked like a pretty hard hit.
Yeah, it was a pretty heavy hit to the left side of that 83. You did mention these cars are very durable, but that was a fairly hard hit. Not sure how up to speed that car is going to be from now on, but we'll see what he could do. But we should also mention, this track really has no walls in the corners, so if you get spun out, you better hope you keep it on the asphalt, because if you don't, you're going to go flying off, and it's very tough to get out of that dirt and grass on the outside of the track.
One thing I was talking about earlier, Brandon, I'm not sure if you heard, but I was mentioning one thing is those mounds on the inside. If you get turned coming off the corner and go flying towards the inside, I know I've seen it multiple times in my experience in iRacing, but I've seen drivers just lose it, get turned, hit those mounds, go flying, absolutely flying through the air and land back on the racing surface with no control of their car, and that can be very, very massive. And I don't know what you think, Brandon, but I think just as scary as the walls not being there is the mounds being on the inside.
I honestly think the mounds on the inside are scarier. You get, like you said, you go over one of those, you're going flying through the air, and heck, you may land in front of 30-some cars, and that's going to be very scary for the rest of the field and yourself. It could create a big wreck, but that's the unique thing about this track. No walls creates, your wreck, and there's really no place to hide with the no walls and then the mounds. So we'll have to see if that'll happen tonight. So far, we've been lucky. So let's see if we can keep it that way, as we have now 1 to go to the restart.
Yeah, Brandon, the mounds have not come into play yet tonight, but we've still got just under 100 laps to see so. And the pace car lights are once again off, and the 03 Ronald McKay is away, and the number 9 is looking to dive under that number 98, make sure he does not get down there on that inside line on this restart, and it's looking like he will be able to do so coming off the corner. He's got a good run there, everyone making it through this first lap. It looks like we will be staying here. The number 98 is really up on that high side. He might just be going for the grass.
I noticed going into turn 3 there, Mike Ronald opening really hard. Looks like maybe got into the 98 a little bit, as we have another caution on the track.
And this one is a little bit of a bigger one there, as I see Tim Big Sexy Terry involved in this one also. And I see at least 4 cars there working their way back onto the track surface.
Take a look at what happened here. Looks like it was going into turn 1. Working lap 62. It looks like Tim Terry just... looks like he got into 38 just a little bit going into the corner. Actually, it looks like the 38 was having some connection issues. And it looked like it was some of that iRacing netcode that created that wreck, but looks like the 88 plowed in there. We saw a few cars go off. Looks like the 83 went off. 48 went off. A few cars went off, but doesn't look like anybody's hurt too bad. But again, we saw right there, avoiding a wreck is very tough here. Not a lot of room on the asphalt, so really the only place you have to go is on the outside of the track in the grass and dirt. And it is tough to get out of there once you're in it.
And you were riding on board with the second place driver of Craig McDonald there, and that number 9. He has worked his way up from about 6th to 7th place here throughout these restarts, and now he's going to be up on that outside line. And I don't think that that's going to be treating him too well in this super late model here at Oxford Plains. I mean, we've seen it every restart. Whoever starts on the outside is pretty much stuck out there and has to find out something to get themselves out of that situation here. But the pace car lights should be coming off very quickly here. Next time by, getting 2 to go.
Yeah, we really haven't seen that outside lane work at all, and this is for the most part a single group track, like we've mentioned at a few points tonight. We will probably see here Craig McDonald. He's voiced his displeasure being on the outside over the voice chat here in the simulator. So you know he's not happy about that, but he believes he has a strong car. And I mean, you have a strong car, but you're stuck on the outside. I mean, it's really a helpless feeling as a driver, being on the outside and knowing it's only a single group track and being as narrow as it is. We got to see what he can do here.
Keith Mack, though, has run the fastest time of the race so far, running a 15.535. He's sitting there in 4th on that outside in that number 22, but the pace car will be pulling off.
Pace car is off, and we are green again at Oxford. Ronald McKay with another good start. Craig McDonald trying to work that outside. Doesn't look like it'll work. Here comes Mike Ryan on the 34, like we mentioned him before. He's been on the move since the beginning of the race, and he will grab another spot, this time to the runner-up position.
Yeah, Mike Rhino, like you said, he's been working his way up through the field all night long, and now he's finally up where he wants to be, right on the leader's back bumper. The number 9 falls into 4th place. They're finally getting down on the inside line. He will be trying to make sure he salvages everything he can on this restart. 69 coming to 70 laps into this race. A lot of tight racing for the lead, but it's been all the number 03 of Ronald McKay tonight.
Yeah, Ronald McKay has led the majority of this race, and we really haven't seen him flinch at all from that lead. As Mike Rhino begins to put pressure on him now, it looks like the 03 might be getting a little bit loose out front. Now, we should mention also, these guys have not pit yet, so they still are on the tires they started the race with. And we saw last week in the Lanier, we saw the fresh tires come into play. Obviously, Jake Goodwin won the race, who was on 150 lap old tires. But here, I don't think tire strategy will be as big because of how narrow this track is and how tough it is to pass once you get single file. But I do think a guy with old tires will win this race again. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But as for now, it looks like the 34 is putting a lot of pressure now on the 03 as he's right there going into turn 3. 03 gets a little bit sideways, but he will maintain the lead here. Coming to lap 74.
As we go up into the blimp, looking at the top 3 and the top 4 as the 9 works his way into the picture just a little bit there. These drivers all taking pretty much the same line around the track, but I take a look at the 03 and you see him taking a little bit of a higher lane from middle to exit, which really allows him to get that run off the corner, which protects him from the back bumper, or protects his back bumper from the wrath of number 34, because he's taking a tighter corner, which is kind of killing his momentum there. And just as I say that, the number 34, Mike Rhino, gets a good corner, but the number 98, Stephen Matthews, gives him a tap there coming off the corner as we continue to watch this battle from above for the lead.
Yeah, it's a really good battle for the lead right now. It looks like the top 3 have just broken away just a little bit from 4th place Craig McDonald. It looks like Craig is starting to close back in as Craig gets a little bump from Mackenzie Brewer. Craig voices his displeasure, looks like, and looks like Mackenzie's not going to get there, but now the battle for the lead is tightening up as we now have 4 or 5 cars in the race for the lead.
And now that we're just past halfway, it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to get a long run here at short tracks especially. I mean, it's been impressive to see the way this race has gone with so many drivers in this event. It's been a relatively clean race. Yes, we've had cautions, but most of them have been single to 2-car wrecks, and nothing too major here as we continue to watch this battle for the lead. The number 34's got that number 98, Stephen Matthews, all over his back bumper, and the number 9, Craig McDonald there, he started in 2nd, lost a couple positions there, getting stuck up on the high side. He is now working his way back up into this picture as we watch these guys battle for the lead. Very, very, very close battling. This is where you got to be on your game. If you make one slight mistake, you better hope the driver behind you is going to be nice and let you have it, or else you might find yourself in the mounds in the infield or out in the grass without no wall.
Yeah, we've already mentioned that tonight. You want to avoid that. And it looks like so far these drivers have done a very nice job of doing that. But We are seeing the battle for the lead tighten up a lot as it looks like, oh, 5th place, Mackenzie Brewer gets really loose out of turn 2, excuse me. Hits the inside curbing and looks like he has a little bit of damage to that 55 machine now.
Yep, that inside curbing can definitely do it to you. I mean, I've even seen those inside curbs blow a motor. Brandon, I don't know if you've seen it yourself, but you hit those curbs at the right angle, you can flip your car, you can blow your motor, and not a pretty place to be. And that's another interesting thing about Oxford Plains. A lot of tracks have curbs, yes, especially road courses, but none are really like this. This is what I would basically, closest thing I could imagine this being is to when you're in a parking lot and you have the curb stops. Basically, it's a curb stop all the way around the track as the caution comes out again. Number 48's around.
Yeah, I noticed that while you were doing your report there. Looked like the 48 just, not sure what he was doing there in the turn 3. Looks like he was trying to move high for the leaders. Got into that dirt and grass area, and looks like he was trying to come back on the track, and it looks like he just looped it around and put us under the caution flag here.
As we take a look at the replay, exactly what you said there, Brandon. Number 48 off into the grass. He's got Cat on the hood, but I do believe he's going to get the John Deere good track cleanup crew of the race, I guess you could call it. He's doing the track maintenance. I know there's a lot of dirt out there, but you do see some green. There's grass. He just cut it up for you guys. So I'm sure the maintenance crews here at Oxford Plains definitely appreciate that, Chuck. So he'll get that car back on the racing surface, and then he'll take it to pit road.
Yeah, I'm sure the safety crews don't mind cleaning up a little bit of dirt and grass after this one's over. And they probably always have it here, but it's probably nothing new to them. So we do see one car been running up front. We mentioned him, Mackenzie Brewer. We see him on pit road. We did see him go over that curbing, get really loose, do some damage to that machine. So he looks like he's gonna maybe get some damage repaired, get some fuel, maybe some tires. Didn't look like he actually changed tires there, so he'll be on his way out. Gonna see where he cycles around. I believe it's gonna be around the 21st or 22nd position. That's gonna be a little hike to get back to the front, but he's got a fast car, so we'll see what he could do. We'll keep our eye on him the rest of the race. Looks like the pace car lights are out now. We have 1 to go to the restart. Working lap 90 out of 150, so when we take the restart, we will have 60 laps to go. And here at Oxford, that is not a long time. So if these guys want to do anything with Ronald McKay here, they're going to have to make some moves fairly quick. Because like I said, 60 laps does not take very long here. As the pace car is now in, and Ronald McKay will take off, and we are back to green as Ronald McKay spins the tires a little bit, but so does Mike Rhino in the 34 as they were side by side going into turn 1. Looks like Ronald will get the advantage. Mike will slide in right behind Ronald, and he will do so. The top 2 keep their spots. Here comes Mike again trying to do something with the 03. Right on his back bumper going into 1, but Ronald McKay gets the advantage.
Mike Rhino might have gotten a little bit loose there on that start, but really, he had the best start out of everyone I have seen on that outside, on this outside first lane. So, very impressive job being able to get down into that second spot as we see 3 wide towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, I've been watching this in the back. We got 3 wide, 2 wide. These guys are getting a little bit hairy back here. They know this race is winding down, and they got to do all they can.
As we take a look at that battle there, we've got Tim Terry there in that number 75. He's in 15th place, getting a shot in the rear from that number 55, Mackenzie Brewer. On the outside, we've got the 83 of Chris Roma there, some more 3 wide almost. Number 55 going low on Tim Terry. Tim Terry trying to fall back in line. He will go down there on that inside line, but he's got Nathan Doherty on his back bumper.
We just saw the 55 Mackenzie Brewer. We just saw him go by both those drivers and pull away now. That will move him up to the 15th position, seeing if he can maybe run down this pack in front of him. But yeah, you mentioned we saw Tim Terry. Most of these cars back here are damaged, and we see, it looks like some smoke. Not sure from where. I'll have to look at that a little bit later, but they keep going straight and we stay green here.
And back up front, the picture has not changed at all. The 03 still leading this race. Mike Rhino has led one lap, and that was under caution. When he was doubled up next to him on that restart, he got a slightly better start. The 98 almost going around, though, getting loose on entrance there, catching that inside curve, almost running the 34 over. I think that number 98 has got a fast car. He just has nowhere to go with it. But that number 22 with Keith Mack, he is on the number 98's back bumper too, and things are getting tense for the second, third, and fourth place.
Another thing we should mention, we see it with all short track, you got to wonder when these guys are going to start using their front bumpers. We've seen it sometimes tonight so far, but as we close into the end on this race, we're going to see it more and more. And looks like the 22 of Keith Mack really is trying to get by the 98. Looks like he might be putting the front bumper in him right now, but looks like they're being very patient with each other right now. But like I said, you wait 20, 30 laps from now and that'll probably change.
I mean, along with these four, the rest of the pack has really started to chase them down, and the caution is out once again.
Looks like the 18 Nathan Doherty is spun around coming out of turn 4. And we'll take a look at the replay here and see what happened to him.
And as we take a look at the replay there, he's going into turns 1 and 2, and he just plows that outside wall. We'll take a better look from above and see what happened.
It's very similar to what happened to, I believe, the 91 of Chris Wanacott earlier in the race. Looks like just a little contact coming out of 4 and just overcorrected a little bit into the outside wall. Right past the start-finish line going into turn 1. Doesn't look like a too hard of a hit for the 18, so he should keep going.
And we are here at 103 laps complete tonight, and we are under caution once again for the weekly press 150. And for those of you wondering, what is the Weekly Press? Well, the Weekly Press is a local newspaper serving central Nova Scotia. For more information, if you're from the area, check them out on the web, EnfieldWeeklyPress.com. And again, that is called the Weekly Press. One thing interesting about this league is just the geographical location of all the drivers, all coastal drivers, and it's a very cool situation they got here. A lot of these drivers not too far from each other, at least one or another. So a lot of these drivers might even know each other outside of the simulator. I don't really know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
As we now have 1 to go, about a half a lap now to the green. And Ronald McKay will lead them down again. As it looks, the pace car is off, and Ronald McKay will take off, and we are back to green here at Oxford. Mike Rhino with an excellent start there. That is the best start I've seen of anybody on the outside all night. And we are under caution yet again. Trying to see what happened here. Looks like on the restart, the 21 of Sean Pierce got a little tap from the 01 of Don Steves. Sent the 21 around and put us under the caution yet again.
we do apologize for those of you watching at home. The ticker seems to have frozen there on the top of our screen, so must be an issue between iRacing and IRTVO, our overlay software. And that brings up something interesting, Brandon, about iRacing as a whole. Over the past, I'd say, year, iRacing has been starting to step up their game with their releases of updates. And I do believe a lot of the updates they've released as of late have really affected the way the sim works as a whole and how it interacts with third-party programs. It's really made it tough for developers to make programs to work with iRacing. I mean, IRTVO was flawless up until 2 builds ago. And now the ticker has frozen up once again, and that's how it's going to stay, I do believe.
Yeah, I do agree. As iRacing has progressed, we have seen some of those programs not be as effective as we've seen in the past. And I'm not sure if that trend will continue as iRacing continues to update in the future, but hopefully they get some of these issues figured out. But we do apologize at home for these technical difficulties. We're trying as hard as we can to get these fixed, but as for now, still got the race, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
For those of you that are in fact wondering what the running order is on your screen, I have pulled up a running order. Ronald McKay, Mike Rhino, Keith Mack, Stephen Matthews, and then in 5th place, Craig McDonald, here as the restart will be taking place very shortly. Pace car lights are off and the field is doubled up, and I'll turn it over to you, Brandon, for this restart.
Pace car is in yet once again, and the green flag comes back out, and Ronald McKay gets a great start. Mike Rhino not as good this time into turn 1 side by side. It looks like the 03 will get the advantage yet again, and the 34 will slide in right behind as he gets sideways coming out of turn 2. Mike Rhino right on the back bumper of the 03 coming out of turn 4. Can he do anything? And it looks like the 03 will pull away yet again and lead that lap. Another thing, the first battle on the track looks like for 4th. Craig McDonald will get that spot from Stephen Matthews as Stephen is stuck on the outside. Again, trying to get to the bottom. Being a single groove track, can't really run that outside, so he's trying his hardest to try to get there. As we've seen, he has a fast car, just once you're stuck on the outside, and he comes down a little bit on the 199, 98 is sideways. And makes a very nice save coming out of 4, and he's still sideways. And that will bring out a caution behind him.
A 55 is in the wall, Mackenzie Brewer once again, and this time I do believe it will be the end of his run. That car is smoking there on that outside line.
Yeah, it looks like again, we saw the 21 get spun last caution. Looks like he got spun again from the 01, same person. But the 55 really just trying to avoid the wreck. And just plowed into the wall there. Really nothing you could do there once you get going towards the wall like that. But that's a tough break for Mackenzie. He's running in the top 5 earlier in the race, and now looks like he's going to be done for the night. Well, as we wind down this race, we should discuss the strategy, as we've not really seen much tonight. Again, these guys have been out here for almost 120 laps now on the same tires. They haven't refueled the car, no adjustments, so basically what these guys have started the race on is what they're on right now. As we have a car, looks like they've blown their motor as they were getting a lucky dog. Looks like that is Nicholas Noggle in the 88. And got the lucky dog, and his motor just expired. And that's a very tough break for the 88, as he was going to get back on the lead lap there. And the motor just expired on him. That's a very tough break.
And here, as we are under caution, you can now see that the ticker is now working on the top of your screen. little bit of coding experience I have does come in handy every now and then, and when it does work and it turns out well, we've got a working ticker now. For those of you watching at home, take a moment, head over to the Twitch chat and tell us what you think of the broadcast. How does it look? What's it sound like? And what do you think we could do better? Here at Checkered Flag Interactive, we are always looking at ways to make our broadcast better, to bring the quality to you guys. And here, as we are at Oxford Plains, this is our second week with the MiRL, and we are continuing to look at ways to make these broadcasts even better as this pace car is ready to head on by, and we are going green.
As we are green again here at Oxford, Ronald McKay gets another great start we've seen all night. Looks like we're a little jumbled up for third place, 22, 9, and 199. Looks like the 22 will come out with this third spot, a little door bang from the 199 on the 9. Jake Goodwin will grab the spot from Craig McDonald. So move Jake, last week's winner, up in the fourth, as he might be looking to make it back-to-back here late in the race as we near 25 to go, as now we have 27 to go, excuse me.
As these laps run down, really the best thing that could happen for the 03 Ronald McKay, who has led every single lap but one off chance lap that he did not, would be for more cautions, really. Cautions here last 3 to 5 laps, and with that length of a caution, that really takes away a lot of chances for that 34 to get to his back bumper and make something happen. And as these top 4 really start to chomp down on that 03, I think the 34 might be slightly faster. It's just he can't really find the place here at Oxford Plains. It's just a bottom lane track. You can't do anything without using the chrome horn or the guy in front of you getting loose. So I really think that number 34, that Coors Light super late model there in second place, he might have the faster car here. He just has to find a place to use it.
I do think Mike Rhino does have the better car, like you said. I do agree. I think 34 is just going to have to hope the 03 makes a mistake here. I don't know if I see it happening. The 03's been really stout tonight. I mean, we really haven't seen him make a mistake at all. The 34 is right there as the 03 gets a little bit sideways. This is the chance for Mike Rhino to get under him. Can he do it? He's right there going into turn 1. Will he use the chrome horn? No, he won't.
You see, the thing is, Brandon, a lot of these drivers, I did get it confirmed, they do know each other outside of the sim, so there is what I would like to call mad respect between a lot of these drivers out here, and I can't really say much for Mike Rhino and the leader there, but, I mean, every single week these guys race with each other, whether it be in this series or some of the other series that, you know, kind of comes of plays. Tim Terry promotes these series, very big name on iRacing, so a lot of people on iRacing will drive in this series or a series that pretty much stems from the MiRL and Tim Terry. So a lot of these drivers probably do have a very bit of big respect as this battle for the lead just continues to heat up. But as I was saying, I don't expect anyone to make any dirty moves unless someone really, really makes someone upset.
Yeah, that respect, with respect on the track, I mean, you're not going to make any dirty moves like we've seen in the past, but we see Mike Rhino giving lots of room to Ronald McKay going into the corner. We see him back off. He is not using the bump. But I do agree that he does have the faster car, but Keith Mack gave the 34 just a little bit bump there. I'm starting to wonder if the 03 is maybe holding these guys up, because we do see a stack of 6 or 7 back here. All that look to be faster than each other in front. So I'm wondering if the 03 Ronald McKay is maybe holding this group up a little bit.
You know, pretty much I gotta say that's gotta be the situation. I don't think the 34 is really any much slower. I don't think the 22 is any much slower. I think the 34 is just giving him so much room that it's really just holding him and everyone behind him up, and you start to see him start to make a little bit of a move towards that rear bumper, but he's got to start doing something. He's going to have to figure it out very quickly here, as that number 22 is right behind him. And Keith Mack, is he wants this win, and it's within striking distance as we've got 15 coming to 14 laps to go here at Oxford Plains for the weekly Press 150.
Yeah, we potentially have like 8, I think it looks like 8 cars that can potentially win this race right now. We got 8 cars within basically a half a second of each other. We gotta see if anybody's gonna make a move here. Single file. See the 34 get a little bit sideways. He's trying his hardest right now. Looks like to get to the 03. 03 looks like he's sliding up just a tiny bit going into the corner. We see Mike use the bumper just a little bit there. Still getting sideways. He is trying his hardest to get there. Just cannot make a move.
And I really think the drivers behind him, if there's more time to this race and there's just coming to about 10 laps to go, I think you're going to start seeing some drivers get a little more frustrated. While that mad respect, I like to call it, is there for sure, it only gets you so far. A win's a win, and right now I see that 199 using the back bumper of the 22 all up, and I really don't think the 22 is any slower. It's just he has nowhere to go.
I do think though, Steve, that the 34 is the fastest car right now. I really think Mike Rhino has the fastest car to win this race right now. I just think he needs to find a way around the 03. And as I say that, the 34 gets a little bit sideways on the curbing. And he keeps it going, but he's still right there.
He is just starting to run out of time, and I really think that 03, he's holding this field up. He's holding a lot of these. I think they're much faster than what you see right here. And with 8 laps remaining, coming to 7 to go, you've got to make your move here quickly. Oxford Plains is a very good track to really prove that you can race, because this track is very tough. As I said earlier, you are turning the entire way around this track. You are getting a workout, especially under these long green flag runs, as you see the 34 getting oh so close to his back bumper, and he's almost slipping up a little too far with that 22 looking low almost. So this battle for the lead, we've got a car going around.
And that will bring out the caution with 6 laps to go here at Oxford Plains. Wow. That just changed everything. Now, looks like we might see a restart with maybe 1 lap to go. And that's going to put the 34 on the outside. We're going to maybe see a bonsai move, as we may only have 1 lap, but we'll have to see. But as for the caution, looks like the 61 of Ricky Arbo went around.
As we pull up a replay there, you see that 61 just get a slight tap from the number 9, and it sends him around there. And I mean, I don't really know if the number 9 of Craig McDonald really did anything wrong. It was just really tough racing, and the way it looks like the 61 is not very happy with him. But it's just racing. These guys are just so close together, and I mean, you can only do so much.
Yeah, there's really nothing you could do when you're this close together on the track. You just gotta hope somebody in front of you slips up and take advantage of it. I think that's just what Craig was trying to do. He saw 61 slip up a little bit, got into him, and looks like 61 just went around. That's just typical short track racing. Really nothing you could do there. But as we see, looks like we will not be going back green. So it looks like the race is over. And the 03 of Ronald McKay, after a charge from Mike Rhino and Keith Mack and Jake Goodwin and all of them behind him, Ronald McKay will come out with a victory tonight, leading all 150 laps as long as he can make it around 1 more lap under caution here.
Very impressive performance too with this 03. I mean, he's going to end up winning this race unless something massive happens under this caution in this last lap. But you really got to tip your hat to the entire top 5. They've had a very impressive race, every single one of them up there. That number 34 worked his way up from just outside the top 5 to get the second place, and that's an impressive run. He did a very good job, kept that car clean. The number 22, Keith Mack, he had an impressive race. Jake Goodwin, he held strong, only finishing up in 4th, following up last week's win. So, these drivers did a very good job up in the top 5. You saw a lot of other drivers get involved in some incidents and a little bit of inconsistency throughout the night. But one thing that was constant, the 0-3 of Ronald McKay was your leader.
A very impressive race from Ronald McKay. And we'll see him burn it down, it looks like, on the front stretch here, as he will take home the victory here tonight.
And if you would, Brandon, as they burn it down on the front stretch, would you run through the top 20 of the running order after this race?
I sure will. So, before we go, here are the results from tonight here at Oxford Plains Raceway. Coming home with the victory tonight is the 0-3 of Ronald McKay after leading all 150 laps. In the runner-up position, we see Mike Rhino in the 34. We saw him charge at the end and just couldn't get there. The 22 of Keith Mack will come home in the 3rd position. Last week's winner at Lanier, Jake Goodwin, comes up with another strong run in 4th. And rounding out the top 5 is the number 98 of Stephen Matthews. 6th place, we see the number 9 of Craig McDonald. We saw him up front a little bit, trying to challenge the 0-3. And 7th, we really didn't talk much about him, but he had a pretty solid race, is the 49 of Chris Stewart. Also in the 8th place, Morgan Murphy in the 89. Also, didn't really talk much about him. He finished 8th, like I said. The 0-2 of Christopher Garnett finished in 9th. Rounding out the top 10 is the 38 of Travis Roma. Just outside the top 10 is the 0-5 of Todd Cousins, finishes 11th. At 12th, we see the 65 of Kyle Bedreau. 13th, we saw who caused the last caution, Ricky Arbo. He was up in the top 10 there for a little bit. In 14th, we see the 13 of David Cassidy. Rounding out the top 15 is 21 of Sean Pierce. We saw him go around a few times, so tough race for him. And from here on back, really, we saw everybody have a tough race. 16th, we see the 00 of Martin Landry. 17, we see the 91 of Chris Wanacott. 18th, we see the 83 of Chris Roma. 19th is the 1 of Vic Greenwood. And rounding out top 20 is Tim Big Sexy Terry in the 75.
And a very good race, I do believe. We did have quite a few cautions, but that is just something that's going to happen when you have about 30 cars take the grid at a track so small. You run 15-second laps here at Oxford Plains, and to have almost 30 drivers out on the track and have a race as clean as it was. I mean, there were a couple cars getting involved every 10, 15 laps, but for the majority of the race, it was pretty clean, Brand, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for an Oxford Plains race, we really saw a very good race, clean race. Like you said, we saw our share of cautions, but for the most part, it was a really good race. Not a lot of bumping and banging, as we did see last week. Not a lot of guys using the front bumpers, as we thought we would see. But like you said, these guys have respect for each other, so they really didn't do much. But for the most part, we did see a clean race.
And with that being said, a few last things before we tune off. We will have a quick after-race interview with a couple drivers in TeamSpeak, and I would like to remind you guys at home that this race was brought to you by the Weekly Press. The Weekly Press is a local newspaper serving central Nova Scotia. For more information, if you're in the area or if you're just interested in reading something a little bit different, head over to www.enfieldweeklypress.com, enfieldweeklypress.com. Not sure if I pronounced that right, and I'm sorry if I didn't, but head over there and check that out. Interesting stuff. I looked at it earlier. Just a little bit of a taste of what goes on in different places. And we will have a quick commercial break, and I will drag a couple people up in TeamSpeak, and we will have some quick after-race interviews. Do not go away for Checkered Flag's quick post-race coverage. And we are back here for a couple post-race interviews. We've got Mackenzie Brewer and Patrick Healy up in the booth. Patrick did not race in this race, but Mackenzie did, and had a pretty tough race there. What did you think of the racing here tonight? I know you didn't probably get the finish you were hoping for, but did you think it was a pretty good race?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good race. I mean, there's a lot of give or there. I mean, that's a good thing to have happen. I mean, not a lot of bumpers. I mean, there were a few cautions here or there, but that's racing. I mean, we had a rocket ship car here right out of the gates. We had a car to win the race, I believe. Luck was on our side.
What did you really think of getting all those drivers on Oxford Plains? I've raced quite a few races here at this short track, but I've never been in one with more than, I think, like 18, 19 drivers. What was it like with so many drivers out on the field, especially on all these restarts? It was pretty chaotic from above. What did you think from a driver standpoint?
Yeah, it definitely gets pretty naughty crazy out there. I mean, when you're out there with 28 cars, you're out there, you're going for a pit to come back out, and you got a gaggle of 20-something odd cars in front of you, and you're just trying to get yourself back up there to the front and not get racking. It's nuts.
And one last thing before I turn it over to Brandon. What do you think of the schedule we've got in the series for this season? This super late model, it's a pretty fun car. It's pretty durable compared to a lot of the other cars on iRacing. I think it's one of the few cars that iRacing really got right, and it's a lot of fun to drive. What do you think of the upcoming races, and what do you think of the car?
Yeah, I mean, the upcoming races should be fun. I mean, the road is definitely going to be a handful there. I mean, we have 28 cars there, believe me. It's going to be nuts out there. I mean, there's going to be 28 cars trying to get around that tricky track. I mean, there's going to be a lot of racks there, here or there, but I mean, few and you'll be good to go. And about the super late models, I think a really good car. Those are the only car I really run in this game anymore, but it's really fun and hope going.
All right, good stuff, and sorry for the rough night here at Oxford Plains, but I think the track was a pretty tough place to tame. But anyhow, good job doing the best you could.
Yeah, 10-4, thank you.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Brandon, and he's going to talk to Patrick Healy, who, again, he did not race in the race, but he did watch the broadcast and watch the action down on the track, and we'll get a perspective of someone different.
Yeah, here with Patrick Healy. Patrick, we know you did not race tonight, as Steve mentioned, but from a viewer's standpoint and a spectator's standpoint, what'd you think of the race overall?
I thought it was a really exciting race to watch, and was happy that my newspaper could come on board and sponsor it and make it the Weekly Press 150. It was a great race, tight little track, and one groove makes for tough racing.
Yeah, we saw a lot of tough racing out there tonight. You think there was one point in the race you think changed maybe the complexion of it, or do you think Ronald maybe had the fastest car as of what you were seeing? Do you think anybody had anything for him?
As much as I like to say it, I think the Rhino had the fastest car, and just didn't have enough laps to get by Ronald. I'm happy Ronald won, but I think Mike had the fastest car from the looks. You know, if maybe Mike hadn't gone sideways a bit with like 5 laps to go, might have got by him.
Yeah, we saw a lot of getting sideways out there, but we're glad you enjoyed the race, Patrick, and glad your newspaper Weekly Press was able to come on board for the race tonight. And I believe Tim Terry and Maritime Racing League appreciates it very much. So we thank you for watching the broadcast, watching the race, and glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks. Great job, guys.
Anytime. Thank you for watching again. All right, Brandon. Well, with that being said, we've got those the races all wrapped up with just before 9 o'clock. Again, we saw a dominating performance by the 03, and he will come away with the victory there. And this race at Oxford Plains was a very interesting one for quite a few drivers. Pretty tough race for some drivers, but exciting all the way through, even with all the cautions. So Brandon, unless you've got some final notes, I do believe it would be time to turn it off for the night.
Pretty much said everything. Good race tonight, and exciting to watch, and congrats to Ronald McKay.
Alright, well, for Steve Bonesteel and Brandon Hoff up in the booth and the Maritime Racing League, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week. Don't go away and don't miss any action, as tomorrow we join the Upper Edge CMC Sportsman Series for their third race of the season.